Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I hope you guys are doing good, and in today's video I wanted to share with you in my couple of years of experience of being a makeup artist, the things that I wish I knew. I wish somebody told me before becoming a makeup artist. So if you are interested in becoming a makeup artist, or you're a beginner makeup artist, or even if you've been in the industry for a while, this video is definitely for you. Let's learn from each other, let's bounce off ideas, and hopefully help the next generation of makeup artists to do better and to have, you know, more information than we had. So if you're interested in this video, definitely do keep on watching. Okay, so I have 10 things that I want to say, but you guys know I'm a talker. So if I did write down these points, it would not it would be much longer than this. But I have 10 main things that I have summed up as the important things that I wish I knew. So the number one thing that I always keep getting asked, especially by a lot of beginners, is how do I get capital to build my kit? And the one thing that I would say is family, friends. There's some people who really believe in your dream and would buy you things. Like, for example, when I was starting off, I did have a friend of mine who bought me actually my first set of brushes, who bought me a couple of foundations and eyeshadows, and it was really the starting point that I needed to just, you know, push me and to just know that, you know what, I can do it. So family and friends is a really major thing. Another thing is, if you do have an alternative job other than being a makeup artist, it is important to keep that job. Please keep that job, okay? Don't quit it just yet until you learn the ropes of what it means to actually day in day out be a makeup artist. Keep that job and actually use that to finance buying your kit and buying whatever products that you need to become a full-time makeup artist. Another thing is, if you are a makeup artist and you do jobs here and there and you already have gigs, what I would advise you is use the money that you get paid from those gigs to reinvest in your kit. If you have a small kit, when you're paid, let's say you're paid like 5k or 10k, take some of that money, buy some more products that you need. Buy the products that you need, not the products that you think you need that have just stocked anywhere. Buy the products that you need, and my son is over there sleeping. And make sure you reinvest back into your kit. Don't just spend all the money. No. Just, you know, reinvest. The other thing is marketing yourself and building your kit. So how do you go about marketing yourself? Guys, we live in a digital age where social media is literally everything. So you can open up an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a Twitter account, a LinkedIn account, a Pinterest account, any account that there is some social connection and that there's a conversation going around it. Please feel free, open that and share your work. A lot of times when I started off, I used to be really inactive in terms of posting and all of that, but once I really picked up the momentum, my following started growing, and consequently also my client base started growing as well. So those are a couple of ways that you can market yourself. Another way is through word of mouth. Tell a friend to tell a friend, especially if you do a good job and you do a really, you know, always make sure you do a good job, guys. Like, that is your that is your investment. Because, for example, if you do for me a really nice job, I'll obviously go and tell my mama and my mama's friends and my mama's friends that this girl did my makeup and I liked it. So always make sure you put your best foot forward, and yeah, literally word of mouth is the best form of marketing that we have other than social media. The next thing that I would say is build your kit. Let me tell you something. When I started off doing makeup, I used to think that, wow, manzi, I need to have like 100 shades of foundation. I need to have like 100 shades of concealer and contour and all of that. But you really don't. When you're starting off your kit, don't be fooled. Do you need those things? Yeah, sure. Especially if you have the money to buy it, please buy it. But when you're starting off your kit, and I know that money is usually a large constraint because makeup is so expensive. Like, why is makeup so expensive? But it is. It's so expensive. But what you need to do is, for example, if you have a foundation, okay, what you want to do is get the darkest shade of foundation, get the lightest shade of foundation, and get a couple of shades in between. And also make sure you remember the undertones. There's some people who have neutral undertones, warm undertones, and cool undertones. So if you can get a couple of foundations that are in that sort of range, you can always mix it up, okay? Because even me, even at this point in my career, I don't have every foundation, you know, but I've learned how to be able to buy the necessary colors and then just mix them to get the perfect shade that I want. So when you're starting off the kit, don't be fooled. You don't need the 100,000. No. Just buy the essentials, the darkest, the lightest, a couple in the middle, and you're good to go. And don't forget, as you make more money, as you make that paper, okay, keep building your kit, keep investing, and don't buy unnecessary things, as I said. Yeah. Okay, another thing that I wish I knew when I started off my journey is how to invest, how to reinvest when you get the money. Like I said, once you get money, it's always important to reinvest, okay? So if there's a certain product that you don't have, go and buy it. If there's a certain primer that you need, go and get it, okay? And not just that, okay? For me, investing is not just in going back and buying things for my kit, but another thing that I never used to know or even think about is tithing. I don't know what background that you come from, but guys, tithing is a really, it's such a major thing that has really elevated my business to the next level, you know, like that sort of relationship with God where I can be able to trust him and say, you know what, God, thank you for bringing this business to me. So whatever I charge, I take 10% of that and I give to my local church. It's really pushed me out of my comfort zone to the point that now I am charging above and beyond what I thought I would even be charging. So invest, tithe, and save. Don't forget to save your money, okay? Like, I think as makeup artists, we always have this splurge mentality of, hey, madozi mefika, madozi naenda kununua products. It's okay, but sometimes calm down. If you don't need it immediately, don't buy it, okay? Just chill, invest your money, buy whatever you need, make sure you tithe, and also save some, okay, for that rainy day or for whatever that you may need. Save. I cannot stress this enough. Once we do the service, it always seems like easy money, like, oh, I got that money. But don't forget, sometimes easy come, easy go. So immediately you get that money, the number one thing that I like to do is I tithe first of all, and then I save, and then now I do like the rest of the spending. So always make sure you have a form of financial structure that makes sure that even in the years to come, you don't have a dwindling business. So that is really important, especially in whatever career that you have, I think. Yeah. Okay, another thing that you need to know as a makeup artist is knowing your niche. And what do I mean by niche? Knowing your client base. Are you targeting high school students? Are you targeting college students? Are you targeting business people? Are you targeting high-end clients? Are you targeting the middle class? You have to really know what it is, or who it is rather, that you're targeting, so that you can be able to really focus in on that niche. So for example, let me give you a practical example. If you are targeting a more higher end clientele, you have to make sure that your makeup kit is stacked with, no, I wouldn't say luxury, but it is stacked with really high quality products that would appeal to people like them. Because you have to remember, you see, if you're going to, for example, to do makeup on a lady who is, you know, well traveled and all that, and you know, she's a premium paying she's a premium paying client, you have to remember that you're not going to go and tell her about these things. She already knows about the Max, the Lancomes, the Estee Lauders, the you know, all of that. So you have to make sure that if that is what you're targeting, then you build your kit towards the kind of niche that you're targeting. If you're targeting the middle class people, it's okay, you can use drugstore products, but you also have to remember that depending on the clientele or the niche that you're targeting, that will determine the price, okay? Because you can't be targeting middle class but you're charging them a premium rate, or you can't be targeting the premium clients and you're charging them a lower rate. You understand what I mean? You have to have that balance between knowing your niche and your clientele, and also your charges and your products. So keep in mind that. Okay, so another thing that nobody told me when I was getting into the game is you have to ask yourself this question: is your short-term and your long-term goal, is it, for example, to be a freelance makeup artist? Like currently I am a freelance makeup artist, which means I don't have a permanent location where you can come to and I have your makeup and I do your makeup on you. I come to where you are and have the makeup done there, as opposed to being a studio artist where you have a studio and people instead come to you. So you have to really look at the balance and the pros and cons between either being a freelance artist or a studio artist. Because, for example, think about it in terms of a studio artist. You know, you have a permanent space that you have, okay? So you have to think about rent at the end of the month. You have to think about paying salaries in case you have other people who work for you. You have to think about paying light and bills and all that. So really gauge yourself when you're starting off, or even when you go further and further into your career. Do I want to stick with freelance? Do I want to stick or go towards the direction of having a studio? Also, freelance has its pros and cons. For example, you're not able to service as many clients as you would if you had a studio. Case in point being, you're always on the road, you're always traveling. So let me tell you a practical example. For example, I live in Nairobi, Kenya. So if one of my clients is in Kilimani, I'll go there maybe at 7 o'clock, do their makeup. My next client is in Thika. How long does it take me to get from Kilimani to Thika? And then let's say my other client again is on Mombasa. Do you understand? So it really limits you to the number of clients that you are able to do. So really gauge and see, do I want to go in this direction or do I want to go in this other direction? But either way, both of them have pros and cons. So just look at what suits you best as a makeup artist. Okay, let us talk about a sensitive topic here, okay? And this is the topic or the issue about deposit. And this is not just in terms of the business or the artistry of makeup, but it's also in terms of most service based businesses. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. The reason for me that I feel like deposit is one of the most important things that people don't usually talk about is, number one, it gives you the gauge as to whether the client who is booking you or who wants to book you is a serious client. Because let me tell you, I have had clients who have promised me roses and, you know, everything, and then when it comes to the time for deposit, there are no show. Like where you, nowhere. And then there are other clients who I immediately talk to them and they're like, oh, you know, I have this event, this and this day, and I tell them about my deposit. Immediately they send me money. So that really gives me a good gauge as to, are you an actual serious client or are you just giving me lip service? Are you just talking, you know? Because at the end of the day, sorry, what you have to realize is this is your business, okay? And if you're serious about it, it's obviously a long-term thing. So you have to make sure that each and every engagement or each and everything that you commit yourself to is something serious and is something that is worth your time. You don't want to go to a job and then you had agreed through word of mouth, ati tulisema, and then they end up not paying you. I have had those situations. Let me tell you, it has hurt me so much. I have had to go into the depths of my soul to forgive these people, because sometimes I'm just like, why would you do that? Like, why? Like, this is how someone earns their living. Like, why would you not pay them? You understand? Like, it beats logic for me, but you know, it's life. So you just have to be a smart businesswoman, and the more you advance, the more you get to learn these things. So don't ever be afraid of asking for deposit. I was telling this to my friend the other day, and she was like, oh, you know, how will she see me? And me, I'm like, how will she see you? Excuse me, that's none of your business how she will see you, okay? You need to make sure you secure the bag and you secure your what? Your time, okay? Your time. So yes, deposit is really important. It lets you know the seriousness behind it. And also, let me tell you something. Initially, when I was starting out, sometimes I wouldn't really necessarily have money to go to the client, because some places, like, you really require Uber, like to and fro and all of that. Deposit is good for that. Number one, for fare. Number two, if you have certain products that you need to restock, it's good for that, okay? Because deposit is ideally half the amount of the money that you're charging. So if they send you half the amount and you're able to maybe go and maybe get the lashes that you need, or get the primer that you need, whatever it is that you need topping up for that client, a deposit is a really, really good thing to help you out with that. Yeah. Next thing that I want to talk about is transportation and accommodation, and this is for my freelance artists. Okay, whenever you're setting up your rate card, always make sure that you have catered for your transportation within that rate card. Okay, so for example, if I charge XYZ amount of shillings for makeup, I also add my transportation costs into that price. Okay, so that when you're telling the client this is how much I charge, it is inclusive of the transportation. Okay, you want to ease in the work for the client. You don't want to tell them, okay, I charge this for makeup and I charge this for transport. It doesn't make sense. And you also have to make sure that it's a reasonable rate, so that no matter where within like the city that they are at, it's not going to cost you too much, it's not going to cost you too little that you're removing money from your pocket. So transportation and accommodation, especially like, you know, those shoots or parties that are outside of town, girl, do not cater for your own accommodation. Okay, that is a loss to you, because that is taking money out of your pocket. So always make sure to tell a client that if you need me to come to you to this and this and this place, this is how much I charge, and if you need me to stay overnight or things like that, this is what I would need. So number one, an extra charge for the extra time that you're there, and number two, they should also cater for the accommodation. And guys, I'm not just saying at the accommodation it has to be something that makes sense. It has to be something decent. Okay, like a decent accommodation. I think I'm lucky enough that the out of town jobs that I've gone to, I always get really good clients, so my accommodation is usually good. But I have had horror stories of people who tell me, where I went to Nini, and I'm like, what? So always make sure you sort out those details. Like, okay, accommodation, you want me to come, where am I gonna be sleeping? Okay, I don't want to be sleeping in your mother's, aunties, shoshos, nieces bed. You understand what I mean? Like, just make sure that you really set and say, this is what I need, and make sure that you have communicated the same to your potential client. The other thing that I want us to talk about is security. Okay, security, guys. I know, and you know, and I know that you know that I know that you know that makeup is not cheap. Okay, so don't just be letting anybody touch your products. Okay, don't just be like, oh, and you know girls, because ukisha set up hapo, you know your nice little setup, they're like, wow, powder ni ya nini, eyeliner, wow, hata mimi natakanga. No, that's how your things end up getting lost. So always communicate from the get-go, even as you set up, or when people are coming, you're like, I know I don't usually allow people to touch my things just because of privacy reasons and because of hygiene reasons. Girl, give them whatever reasons you need to give them, okay? Just don't touch my things. Because let me tell you, hey, kuna maob in Nairobi, dunia kuna maob, manzi. Someone will just be pretending like they're looking at something, and then even do. Have you ever, I don't know, maybe for my other experienced more experienced makeup artist, have you ever like sat somewhere and then you start thinking, by the way, ile eyeliner yangu ilienda, ama by the way, ile foundation mbona sijaiona? Like, I literally have products that right now I cannot tell you where they are. Case in point, people will start touching my things for no reason. And also, if you're a client or a potential client or someone who receives these services, guys, just like, can you just keep distance? Sometimes it's good to ask, but always at the discretion of the other person. Like, don't just be all up in someone's stuff, like just touching. Like, come on, I know your mama taught you better than that. Come on. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys, in terms of what I wish I knew before starting off makeup artistry, is there are going to be peak seasons, they're going to be off-peak seasons. Okay, and that's just the nature of the business. That's not to say that kaukiwa kabsati you won't have clients, which sometimes has happened before, especially like during this time with the pandemic and all of that, when we weren't able to service clients. So what do you do in off-peak seasons? This is what you do, girl. You have a phone, yes. You have your makeup that you use, yes. Practice your craft, okay? Practice your craft. Even if you don't have a client or a model to do it on yourself. Make sure that eyeshadow blending game is on point. Make sure those eyebrows zimeenda Harvard, Yale, Pennsylvania, all the universities, okay? Like, just perfect your craft and keep posting. Keep reminding people that, yo, I'm still here. Yo, I'm still popping. Yo, services are still, on point. Keep doing what you need to do, because each and every day that you do what you're doing, you're improving yourself. You're making your skill better, because you don't just look at a makeup artist and then you say, don't just say, hey, me wanna be like so and so. Me wanna be like, I wanna be like. But no, like, guys, it took a journey. It took a lot of resilience and a lot of persistence for them to get there. So just keep practicing, okay? Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither were your eyebrows. I just came up with that. Okay, another thing, in terms of what do you do during your off-peak seasons, and even during your high peak seasons, you have to have multiple sources of income, okay? I don't know where it says that an average millionaire has like 7 sources of income. Girl, we're trying to get to billionaire status, okay? So a couple of ways that you can diversify your sources of income is, number one, YouTube. I haven't been in this YouTube space for a long time, but it is something that you should look into if you aren't on YouTube, because it's a good way to make money as well as educating and entertaining, or doing whatever it is that you do or you like to do. Another way is brand proposals. You could always approach brands and tell them, you know what, my name is so and so, this is what I do, and we could do this and this and this together, and I will charge you this and this rate, and just see how you can come up with a way to be able to earn money from that. And always make sure that before you approach a brand, that your pages, your social media, your profile, it's on point, okay? Like, it's what they want to see, it's what they want to be associated with. So that's another way. Another way is also consultancy. You can be a beauty consultant, you can be consulting on skincare, you can be consulting on whatever it is that you are really good at. You can be a consultant and actually earn money out of that. Another way is you can be an assistant at jobs. There's this whole glamorization of, I have to be the head artist at this. You don't have to be, okay? Especially in your off-peak seasons, okay, but a job and someone is asking you to assist them in this and this and this. Girl, go make your money, okay? Put your ego aside. It doesn't matter if you're the head makeup artist, or if you're the secondary makeup artist, or if you're no, go make your money, okay? Another way is, if you're into it, I personally do this on the side, is modeling. This is not anywhere in the field of makeup, but if you are interested in that, commercial modeling is also another way that you can make a little extra money on the side. And the second last one, is selling makeup. If you are a makeup artist, you obviously have those clients that ask you, and what can I use for this, and what can I use for that, and you can always translate that from them being a client of you applying makeup on them to them being a client of you actually selling makeup to them. And the very last thing, and this applies to my studio artists, my artists who have a studio, if it's an off-peak season, then you can always have the choice of renting out your space. So for example, you can say, you guys can come for a photo shoot here, you guys can come and have maybe stock your products here. It can be a collection point. Like, just look for avenues and ways that is convenient for you to be able to make money without it being so much of a hassle to you. Yes. And the last thing, the very, very last thing, I hope I've not been rambling too much, guys. The very last thing that I would that I wish I knew, and I wish someone told me before starting off in the industry, is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, okay? If other people have gone on before you and have done great things, girl, you can do it too, okay? You are cut from the same cloth as God Almighty, okay? So believe in yourself. Sometimes I have gone to jobs and then I have finished doing everything and I've gone back and I'm just like, man, I really didn't like what I did. Like, I really didn't like how that turned out. But you see, that's a lesson. I could choose to think about it in terms of, manze, but let me beat myself up about it. Oh, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? But instead, what I choose to do is say, you know, I didn't do this and this right, but I can do better. And then I make sure that even as I'm practicing on other models or on myself, that's things that I'm perfecting on. You understand what I mean? So believe in yourself. Keep learning from your mistakes. Keep learning from other people's mistakes. Guys, if nimeenda hivi na akujaenda vizuri, you don't need to also go the same way, okay? Just learn from other people who have been in the same position or industry as you, and be persistent. Be persistent. That's one of the most that's one of the toughest things to do, especially when you feel like your career is not going anywhere, like you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again and nothing is changing. Girl, let me tell you, let me be the voice that you've been waiting for. Be persistent. Be persistent. Whatever you sow, if you plant up over here maharagwe, it will have to grow, okay? Be persistent in your craft. Eventually it will pay off, okay? Whether it's in 2 years, whether it's in 1 month, whether it's in 10 years, it will pay off. And with that, it's a wrap, okay? I hope I gave you guys 1 or 2 gems as to what it actually means to be in the industry, and hopefully you guys can, you know, learn from me. And if you are a pro MUA, or you have been in the industry for a while, please comment down below and also share more tips as to what you wish you knew before starting off in the makeup game. And I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you for watching.